Hi, my name is Korede and I'm a filmmaker. So far, I have made 3 short films. One of the most interesting things about these films is that every single time I have learned something new. So today, I thought to share 10 lessons I've learned making short films. The first film I directed, titled Tip of the Edge, is actually adapted from a short story I wrote in 2015. I was working at BBC Media Action at the time and I was interested in starting a film collective, and I met a colleague of mine who was also interested in doing the same thing. So we said, hey, let's do this, let's form a collective. Starting a collective or joining a collective is something I would totally recommend. One of the biggest advantages of being part of a collective is you don't have to pay for crew. You can just work on each other's projects, and yeah. So lesson number 1, pre-production is everything. You've got pre-production, you've got production, you've got post-production. Pre-production is everything that happens before you get on set. So that is writing the script, preparing to get on set, finding your locations, casting your actors, all that stuff. Maybe because it was our first short film as a collective, we were very serious about everything that we were doing to make the film happen. So we had a list of documents and questions to be answered. So the documents that I had to work on as a director were the shots list, I think I did a storyboard as well. I also had a mood board. So the mood board was supposed to include references for movies. I mean, what I was trying to replicate in terms of story, the look, the colors, and all that stuff. And an interesting thing was we were not just saying, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to use 16:9 or ultra wide because it looks good or because we think it looks more cinematic. I had to give really good reasons for why I wanted the film to look a certain way. It helped me learn and it helped me dig deep into the type of story I was telling and what I wanted to communicate to the audience. Because when you're making a film, it's not just about the lines of dialogue that your actor is saying, it's not just about their action, but it's also about what you're trying to tell them using the colors and the framing. For instance, the main actor, the lead actor, she had yellow hair on. She actually came into the auditions with that hair on. And when I saw it, I thought, yellow hair. Yellow could signify sickness, right? That something is wrong. And it clicked when I saw her in that hair. But if I hadn't been thinking about the colors I wanted to use for the film, and I hadn't done a bit of research and see what would work with our color palette, then it wouldn't have occurred to me that I could ask her to come with that same hairstyle. Lesson number 2, work with people who know more than you do. When I was working on Tip of the Edge, the cinematographer, he'd been to film school. The screenwriter, she had written feature-length films. So both of them had more experience than I did, and it helped a lot. And even if you can't find people who have more experience than you, then it's a good idea to check their strengths and their weaknesses. You want to pair yourself with people who have strengths where you were weak. Say, for instance, you're a director who doesn't have a strong understanding or sense of cinematography, then you need to pair yourself with a cinematographer who is good at that. Lesson number 3, practice is the best way to learn. Oh my, before I made my first short film, I was reading a lot about cinematography and directing and sound and all that great stuff. But there was one thing I still hadn't properly grasped until I really got on set and shot, and that was the 180-degree rule. I told the cinematographer, oh, why don't we take this shot from this angle? And he said, no, you would be breaking the 180-degree rule. And then it all made sense. So I'm not saying you shouldn't read, watch videos, learn, but you need to practice what you learn. That is how you really internalize everything that you have learned, and that is how you avoid making mistakes. Lesson number 4, don't bite more than you can chew. We needed fake blood. Of course, we did what everyone would do. We went online to look for how to make fake blood. We saw the recipe, or different recipes. There are different ways to make fake blood. And we thought, oh, okay, yeah, we can do this. Now that I think about it, we should have tried the recipe before we went on set. But it was on set that we mixed the blood, and yeah, it didn't look like blood. In fact, we had to leave a shot or 2 shots out of the finished film because the blood just, yeah, it didn't work. If you know that making fake blood would be too much for you, or you cannot afford a special effects makeup artist to get it done, then maybe you should write it out of your script or find a creative workaround for it. Don't bite more than you can chew. The second short film I directed, Play, was a different ballgame altogether. The director approached me to direct it. I also co-wrote it and edited it. So I was almost very nearly a one-man production team. And that brings me to lesson number 5. Always rehearse. Tip of the Edge was about 7 minutes long, but this one was about 20 minutes long or 23 minutes long. And yeah, that's about 3 times the length of my first short film. And we didn't have as much time to rehearse, so I figured, oh, we could take just the dialogue scenes and rehearse those. What I should have done actually was to rehearse not just the dialogue scene, but other key scenes, because acting is way more than about dialogue alone. The first film that I shot, Tip of the Edge, one of the things that made it really strong was we did give quite a bit of time to rehearsals. Lesson number 6, don't ever try to be a one-man team. So we shot Play for 2 days or 1.5 days, depending on how you want to see it. We started Friday evening and finished Saturday evenings. On Friday, we were shooting from evening all through the night till about 4 a.m. Yeah, I think it was 4 a.m. And then we slept for about 2 hours or something ridiculous. And when I say I was the entire crew, I mean I was the director, I was on the camera, and I was also the sound guy. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was the gaffer as well. I mean, I pulled it off, but it would have been way better if I had help. I wouldn't have made some of the ridiculous mistakes that I made. By the following morning, my friends got on set and then they helped me with sound and camera. That brings me to lesson number 6. Always plan for contingencies. Anything can happen, so always have a plan. Normally, when you're going on set in Nigeria, because of the power issue, you need to have a backup generator. What happens if the power just goes out? On the set of Play, we had no such plans. In fact, it didn't even cross my mind to find out from the producer what happens if the power goes out. We're very lucky that the power didn't go out even once while we were shooting. But if it had, there was nothing we could have done about it. So don't take anything for granted. Think about everything that could go wrong and make sure you have a plan in place. That brings me to my third short film, Mankoi. Now this one was very interesting and exciting to make because it was, how do I put it? It was me experimenting. So I met a filmmaker on Instagram, Leroy. He came to me saying, oh, I really want to shoot something with you, and how about this idea? I'll be leaving links to all these films in the description, so you should totally go watch them. And that brings me to lesson number 7. Don't just recce properly. A recce is when you go to the location where you'll be shooting to check what it sounds like, check what it looks like, everything that could possibly affect the shoot. So we had set up our cameras, we were ready to roll, and then we started hearing a church. I had been to that mechanic shop several times, but for some reason, it had never registered that there was a church right there. So what we did was we scratched that scene. We decided that, okay, we're going to shoot this last whenever these guys are done, and we're going to do other scenes that could take us a little far away from this place that we're at right now. Yeah, that's what we did. But don't make that mistake I made. When you're going to check out a location, be very thorough. Don't just go there and look around and say, yeah, it looks good. Think about everything. And you also need to think about the day of the week you're going to be shooting. If you're going to be shooting on a Sunday or a Monday, try to go to that location on a Sunday or a Monday, weekday or weekend, to see what it's actually like in terms of traffic, especially if it's an outdoor location. And you know, outdoor locations are so difficult to control. So at a point we were shooting and we noticed that, wait, there's a restaurant sign that is on the road right now that wasn't there before. What happened? The owner of the restaurant would have come back from church and then put their sign outside their shop, and that sign wasn't there earlier in the day. So yeah, bonus point. There's a lot to think about when you're going to be shooting outside and not in an indoor location where you can control practically everything that's going on. Lesson number 9, get it right on set. None of that, oh, we'll fix it in post. Don't worry, when we're editing, we'll do green screen and magic, and yeah, that doesn't work. When I was filming Play, that is my second short film, some of my shots, I wasn't sure, oh my goodness, is this properly exposed? Is this underexposed? Is this overexposed? And I figured, okay, because time is running, I'm just going to fix this in post, I'll adjust, blah, blah. Guys, get your exposure right on set. Final lesson, lesson number 10. Zero budgets is actually low budgets. With Mancoin, we figured, oh, we don't want to spend money renting this, we don't want to spend money doing that, and yada, 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 yada. Yes, it didn't cost us much to make the film, but there was transportation money, there was money for food, there was money for what else? I think we had to rent a battery for a camera, if I remember correctly. So all those things, they probably didn't amount to more than, I don't know, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira. It wasn't much, but we did spend something. Another bonus lesson is filmmaking is a lot of hard work, especially if you want to do good work. Fun thing is, even if your work is not good, it's still a lot of hard work. Months of work go into making some short films. But at the end of the day, when you see your work on the big screen, or in my case on YouTube, and people really appreciate it, at the end of the day, it really is worth it. So yeah, that's it. Those are the lessons I have learned making short films. And I intend to learn a lot more because I intend to make a lot more short films. And hey, feature films as well. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, turn on your notifications so whenever there's a new video, you'll be the first to get it. Follow me on Instagram and let me know what your thoughts are about this video. And of course, by all means, if you have made a short film, please tell me what the name of your short film is, or put the link in the comments so I can go watch, and let me know in the comments still what the biggest lesson you have learned making short films is. That sentence sounded wrong. Thank you very much. This is Korede signing out.